Hi, Chicago. Hello this evening. Welcome to the show. My name is Reverend Catherine Brown, the Tycoon. And we are here today with a special guest in the studio, Mr. Che Rhymefest Smith.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing, Reverend Brown?
I am doing great. Chicago. This is a live call-in show. We are welcoming your calls. You can call in and you can ask for the Rhymefest the questions that you may have on your mind to just get some comments, concerns, or questions for him to address. Our topic today is going to be around community issues or things that we're dealing with in the community. And we're going to, let me kind of introduce the brother. Let you kind of introduce yourself as well. Everybody know who you are, but I mean, no. I want to say this though before you start. Chicago, this is one of the most humble celebrities I've ever met. Ever. I had a great time with him at the Harold Washington event. And I want to thank you publicly for taking the time to come out and really help us make the event a success, because I was telling people how you gave a speech and you blew us away.
Wow.
You blew us away, and I want to thank you publicly for that. But can you talk to the audience and just tell them a little bit?
It's fine. And okay. I want to, thank you guys for having us out there. Thank you for having me. And thank you for inviting me, Pastor Beth. I appreciate it. We were at the Harold Washington Cultural event, legacy event, like you stated, and we were just talking about what is the legacy of Mayor Harold Washington.
Yes.
And one of the things I was talking about was the fact that Mayor Washington didn't create us. We created him. There was a political vacuum and a need in this city for justice on the south and west sides of Chicago, as well as the brown sides of Chicago.
Yeah.
And it wasn't being upheld. And the community got together, found an individual that could encompass the articulation, the political acumen, but more than anything, the courage to lead the city in an equitable way that showed parity. And what I was saying is that since Mayor Harold Washington died, we believed that the power was him, that we lost everything. And so here we are, 60 years later, 50 years later, and we have not upheld the values that were beginning to be established by Mayor Harold Washington, because somewhere along the line, we forgot that we were the power, that we created a black mayor, that we created black businesses. Somewhere we thought that was an individual and not a community. So now the community is in disarray looking for an individual. We will not find justice, equity, parity in this city.
Look at that, tell them that. They need to.
Well, I don't believe that we'll find justice, equity, or parity in this city until we come together as a community and build what we want to see.
In unity?
In unity, community unity, and build what it is we want to see. I think far too often we look to celebrities to come back.
Yeah.
Well, if this person did this and if that entertainer did that, they're not coming. The cavalry is not coming. So what is it that we can do to pull our resources and our monies together to make our communities the best they can be? People always talk about the mayor, how oppressive the system is, institutionalized, biased. None of that stuff could hurt us if we were together.
As one.
As one.
Unity.
None of that stuff, we would realize that we elect the mayor.
Right.
The mayor don't control us. We control his future. So if we have an agenda, we should put money into that agenda and into a candidate that will enforce that agenda. We are the control. The police are not in control of us. They are here to protect and serve. But if we're together as a community, we can hold them accountable, or we can hire our own police to privatize police to circulate our own communities. If you look at the University of Chicago, they have the second largest private police force in the United States of America. Now, this is the University of Chicago. They hired those people to protect their area. Well, why can't people in Inglewood, Auburn Gresham, Jeffrey Manor hire our own private police? We can. We have to stop looking at the city and the government as the power over us and us as the power over ourselves.
I think a lot of times the people kind of lose hope when it comes to dealing with the political side of it. They feel hopeless, like if I vote, if I be interactive, because even when we out and doing marches and stuff, a lot of times you won't even see as many black people as you would see other races. And I've noticed that, and especially when it's really big crowds, you have black people out there, but it's like they feel like it's a waste of our time to get out there because city gonna do what they want to do no matter what. And so a lot of us, I think, it's just kind of feeling hopeless. What would you say to the people?
But that goes back to what I just said. When you say the city gonna do what they want to do no matter what, at that point you've given up your power.
Thank you.
At that point that you feel that way, it will happen. Things will happen to you. You know what I mean? You leave yourself vulnerable when you don't believe that you have the power. Dr. Martin Luther King said, "Your back will be written until you decide to stand up."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't come into any situation with a bent back,
right.
or you're giving someone the power to oppress you.
Right.
And I think that what has happened with our people in many of our communities is that they've been divested from for so long. And I'm not just blaming, or I'm not blaming the city or the state government. When I say divestment, I mean people have made it to escape it. People have, become successful and moved out of the community, and then put their resources in communities that already had wealth. Right. And only leaving the poor, the indigent, what I'm calling for is there needs to be a community benefits agreement. We're having a CEO brain drain from the south and west sides of Chicago. People are getting their college educations and never turning back. We need people the same way myself. As an Oscar Award winner, a multi-Grammy Award winner, I live in the area of Chatham. My community needs me. There's a 9-year-old boy that looks at me every day when he rides his bike across the street from me. And one day he came up and just had we had a conversation. We sat on the porch, we drank lemonade. He needs to know that Rhymefest lives across the street from him, because that says what he can be. Right. We have too many of our people who have moved away. I think it's time for us to come back. Yeah,
I agree with you 100%. When you said about the CEO, you talked to me about that before. The city should be something like a company, and we're the employees in these.
The city, you have to view the city as your company. You are the employer. Yeah. The mayor is your employee, right? And he has a contract. Right. And he's going to serve for 4 years. He may have 2 years left. And you have to make sure that he's not tanking the stocks of the company that is your city.
Right. And I like the way you put that. That's why I wanted you to say it to the people, because I wanted them to get an understanding of that. Well, I also wanted to talk to you. Before I forget, happy birthday, Georgia. Can you just shout out to my baby?
Yeah, happy birthday, Georgia. She has the... Georgia. Pastor Brown has the most beautiful young girl who just turned 12 today. So happy birthday to you, Georgia. And I know you're going to travel the world, and you're going to be as smart as your mommy is one day.
Well, I don't know if she's as cute as me, but okay. That's my baby. So I just wanted to, kind of send a shout out to her and say happy birthday. Good. And to her school, the Bulldogs. Woo! Go on, y'all. They doing a good job. They just became one of the top Westcott. Okay. They just made some good levels and everything, and I'm proud of them and the whole staff. They did a good job. Helping get my daughter educated.
And shout out to her daddy. I saw him in the back room. You got a complete family. It's interesting, Pastor. I was just saying the other day, so goes the family, so goes the church. Yeah. And so we see a lot of churches on the south and west sides of Chicago that have 8 members, 10 members, and it's because many of our family structures are not as strong as they need to be. And, I really believe the church has to do more in terms of helping families stay together.
Absolutely.
And, bringing families together to save itself.
Yeah, yeah. What would you say to some of the young men out here that, they're not quite sure on how to make some positive changes in their life, how would you motivate them, especially the ones that's kind of just dealing with so much violence and, police brutality and, just so many negative things is going on out here in Chicago? Can you kind of look at and just tell them,
Well,
sorry. Go ahead.
I was one of those young men, My mother was 15 years old when I was born. I was a high school dropout. I was at one point involved in gangs in my community, But to a certain point in your life, you just have to disconnect yourself from everything that is not serving you a purpose.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
So when I disconnected myself from everything that was not benefiting me, naturally good things started to happen.
All right.
So sometimes we're looking for these extra ways or things to do in order to better ourselves, when the only thing you have to do is disconnect yourself from the thing that's holding you back.
That's right.
And so when I disconnected myself from some of the friends I had, some of the music I was listening to, some of the habits that I formed, the more I disconnected myself from negativity, the more what life really had for me started to appear.
So I think you made an excellent point. Disconnect yourself from atmospheres that is not, conducive to the purpose in your life, And we have some callers. Can I go ahead and take a call?
Yeah, please.
Caller, go ahead. Are you there? Welcome to the show.
I am. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for taking my call. I wanted to ask your guest, because I know he ran for alderman at one point, and I certainly hope he will stay politically engaged. Kind of, with your knowledge and background, what aldermen should be doing, what is your assessment of the 50 we have in place now and the job they've done on behalf of the citizens of Chicago?
That's a very good question. In terms of how I view the 50 aldermen that we have, I don't think there's enough collaboration. I believe everybody is trying to do what's best for their particular ward. We have a black caucus, but then you have another caucus, and then you have a progressive caucus. We don't have enough aldermen working together to say, okay, what works in the 6th ward that we should be applying in the 20th ward? How are those aldermen getting together and trading what it is they're doing good and applying those things in each various community? Aldermen sometimes get caught up in the fact that they're the alderman for a ward, and they miss the fact that they're also representatives of a city collective, and so aldermen have to take that collective power back. However, it's difficult when some of them are so deeply indebted to the mayor for whatever committee that they're on, for whatever donation benefit they have, or developers in their ward that doesn't want them. We have to be careful, especially in many of the blighted communities, that we aren't kept apart from each other, even as we're supposed to be working together for one city. I would really like to see more collaboration amongst the aldermen, and I would like to see more unity amongst the aldermen of color, not just black, but there needs to be a black-brown coalition of aldermen that address systemic biases and issues that we have citywide. It's great when black aldermen come out. It's great when brown aldermen come out. But the power of seeing black and brown together, I think, is really what this city is made of. And that's a coalition of communities. And that's ran from the bottom up and not the top down, which today it appears that many of our aldermen are co-opted. And the city is being ran from the top down, which in many cases could be defined as tyranny or undemocratic. When we look at the fact that we don't have an elected school board, I think that says a lot about the democracy that is not taking place in the city of Chicago. Most places in the country have elected school boards, especially major cities. And so I believe that Chicago should have one as well. Why the aldermen have not been able to get together and push for a vote on this, it baffles me, other than the fact that they're rubber stamped and controlled, mostly by the mayor. However, the good thing is It is a new day.
Yeah.
People are thinking another way.
Absolutely.
You know, from the senior citizens to the millennials to Generation X, people want change and they want something different. So now all we need is good candidates.
Right.
However, even with the good candidate, that's not all we need. Those good candidates need finances and resources behind them.
Support.
It costs about $200,000 to run for alderman. When I was running for alderman, I was in Woodlawn area, the Inglewood, back of the yards, 20th Ward, and the median income was about $13,500. Well, if the median income is $13,000 to $20,000, why does it cost $250,000 if I want to represent the community I live in? Most people don't have that money.
Right.
So where does that money come from? If most of the people in the community don't have that type of money, the money comes from developers, the money comes from the mayor, the money comes from usually places that are anti-community.
Outside
so
of that ward.
Outside of the ward.
Yeah.
The fortunate part I had while we were able to run a competitive race is because my money came from a different donation pool, which was concerts, hip hop, rappers that I knew, you know, that donated. However, I mean, the access that I have, you know, but Pastor Brown, for the average person that wants to make change in their community, where will they get the money to run for alderman if it's not? But so the community has to get together. And the same way young people got together and put $25 together for Bernie Sanders, if you want to see change in your community, if we're going to say that you're the employers and the alderman and the mayor are the employees, you have to put your money up. You have to pay your employee so that you can hold them accountable and responsible. And I know it's difficult to say, you know, we're black, we're in certain communities, brown, are in economically hard times. $25, $30, $50 to your alderman, your state rep, it will carry your agenda further than protesting.
I just want to kind of...
Because it keeps them employed.
Yeah. I think that in my experience being out here in the wards and things of that nature, especially with young people, a lot of them don't even know who their alderman is. You know, who the alderman are. You know, it's just they've become disengaged because of feeling the hopelessness. And I don't like to keep saying that, but I talk to so many young men. You know, the young men is like really a deep focus point for me, because I just believe that the men, I always say, is like the head of the family, and the wife or the woman is like the neck to support, you know, the head. And we have so many families that's, you know, that's in what I want to say.
Well, I mean, look, but if you look at many families now, the moms are the head of the family.
Right.
The women are the head of many families.
Absolutely.
And so our approach can't just be a traditional approach. Our approach has to be an unconventional approach to bring us as a people together,
right.
to lift the men and to also lift the woman and to lift the child, you know?
Exactly.
So when you talk about young people who don't believe anymore, you know...
How do we encourage them to...
That's where people like you and I, you know, I have a organization, Donda's House, where I teach creative writing. We teach studio etiquette. I have an arts program, but within that arts program, conversations come up with my young people about voting, the system, participation, and that's where my program then doubles from an art program to a civics engagement course. You know, our mentor, we have to have, your church has to be active with young people. My nonprofit has to be active with young people, and within the work that we do, we have to have these conversations. We can't just afford to say, well, this is a tech company, because they're a holistic set of need, or a tech organization, because your young people will need tech, but they'll need a lot of other things too. And so it can be a tech organization, but we have to have responsible people from the community in there to talk to young people about that apathy. I think the more we do that, the better we're going to be. And I honestly, I believe it's happening in many of our circles.
Well, when I said that, I really wanted to say, far as the men who get kind of like the backlash from everybody, feeling like, making them feel like they cannot do. But I do see a lot of young men trying to make real efforts.
And a lot of good organizations that are helping a lot of young people. You know, but look, not everybody's gonna make it.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to hold everybody's hand through the storm. At the end of the day, we get together with the people who want to get together, who want to do right, and we build a strong community. That's all we can do. People who don't want to go can do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But great communities start in small circles that get bigger and stronger. And here we are.
Here we are. So I am so happy that you came out tonight, and I know your time is valuable, and I appreciate you coming and share your time with us. Can you give the audience a little information where they can go back, like to your maybe website or your Facebook page, to just get information on your...
People can follow our organization, Donda's House, at dondashhouseinc.org. That's dondashhouseinc.org. You can follow me, Rhymefest, on Twitter at Rhymefest, also on Instagram at Rhymefest. We are working on a citywide therapy session called Heal Chicago, and we will have the website up soon, so I'll come back and give you the information on Heal Chicago. We believe that many Chicagoans, whether you're on the north, west, south side, are suffering from trauma.
They are, yes.
That hasn't been addressed.
Wow.
And so if we can do a citywide therapy session to give coping techniques, maybe we can break down some of these walls and build some bridges.
Yeah. Can I join in with Heal Chicago? I'm a part of that.
Man. We want everybody
to be healed.
Yes, we all need healing.
Yeah, I believe in prayer and going to God for healing, but I also think that in the natural, we need natural support as well as spiritual support, because a lot of times the things that's going on around us is so heavy that we need that natural support, from men and women,
Yes, ma'am.
We help one another. I really, really appreciate you coming on today, and we really don't have time to take more callers, but I would like to say that please, whatever you do, each and every one of y'all tune in next week at same time, Tuesday at 6:30, and we will be back here next week. The anniversary for Laquan McDonald is coming up on October the 20th. You remember Laquan McDonald. And William Calloway will be here next week as our guest. They are pushing what you call a Laquan law. And they're going to be on 35th in Michigan, but I'll have more information on you all about that for next Tuesday. So be sure to tune back in on next week. We've run out of time, but I wanted to make sure that I make that announcement. Do you have anything that you might want to make an announcement about? Anything coming up that you want to share?
No, I mean, I want everybody to just keep a lookout for our Heal Chicago sessions that we will be having. Follow me at Rhymefest, or go to dondashhouseinc.org and get more information about how we work with the young people. Okay.
And any kind of information you have, please just give it to me. Shoot me an email. I'll make sure I get it to the people, because I'm here every Tuesday.
Thank you very much, Pastor.
So if you all have, like you missed out the beginning of the show, you can always call in next week if you have any questions, comments, or concern for Mr. Rhymefest here. He's always willing to help out. I really appreciate him. He's always available to help out. So for those that think that celebrities don't help, he is one right here, right in the hood, helping us out. So I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Chicago, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I will see you next week. Same channel, same time. Did you just shoot through the deuces? Yeah. Peace. I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much for coming.